Hello YouTube, and how's everyone doing tonight? My name is Luke, aka the Horror Nerd, and welcome back to the Dread Central Show. So, I know that some of my audience is probably going to be a little surprised by the nature of this video, but I have said before that there will be random content on this channel, and this is just one of those random content moments because this is a completely random video, nothing to do with the horror genre, gaming, or anything like that. It's more of a personal video, so for those who don't enjoy these kinds of videos, you are completely fine, but for those who actually want some variety on this channel, I hope that you find this video entertaining, or at least entertaining in some way, your own way, whatever. But yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the topic of today's discussion video here on the Dread Central Show. So, I'm not trying to sound like super cliche or anything, but our species, human beings, people, are so incredibly fucked up nowadays. The world itself has become a much more uglier place because of the people in our world. And to me, that is just so incredibly tragic, as we are the cause of why the world has become such a darker place. Now, I know that humans have always been, we've always been inherently evil towards each other. Every human being has evil within them. You know, there's not a single person on this earth who is just 100% completely good. But there are, however, still good people. And to me, the thing that makes a good person is people who choose to do right more than they choose to do wrong. And when they do wrong, they feel remorse about it. They feel guilty about it. They know and they are fully aware of the fact that they have done a wrongdoing, and they feel bad about it. They feel guilty about it. Those emotions actually work for them, because the feelings of guilt and remorse, those are good feelings to let people know that they've done something wrong, something immoral, and something that was unjustified to someone else. Even to animals, even, you know, because you got people out here abusing animals as well for their sick kicks. I mean, it's just incredibly messed up, because human beings, like our species, we're supposed to be better than that. We're supposed to be better than the animals. I was watching this video about how this ape or this monkey or whatever, the mother monkey and the sister, they literally brutally killed the baby that the mother monkey had. You know, monkeys viciously kill each other every day. They cannibalize each other, they kill each other, they do all those awful things. And the core difference between human beings and apes is we're just a little bit less bloodier than they are. You know, apes are a lot more vicious and a lot more savage, but human beings, we can also be just as worse as they are. And that's horrific to think about. The fact that human beings are worse than apes, killing and eating each other, to me, that just sends shivers down my spine, and it also sends a lot of disgust in me, because I feel like our species should be better than that. We should be better than that. You know, like the way that we were designed. I know that not every human being is the same. We're all a little different up there. You know, some people have reasons as to why they do what they do. God knows that mental illness is a huge thing when it comes to the acts that people perform nowadays. Especially if it's a severe mental illness, you know. There's lots of influences that can cause a person to perform heinous acts. It can influence their decisions. It can influence their judgment. Then you've also got drugs that are another thing. You know, there are a lot of causes and reasons as to why people do such horrible things to one another, but that's not what I'm talking about in this video. A perfect example, people bully other people, right? And the reason why people usually bully others is because they are, most of the time, the people that they end up bullying, most of the time it's because they are less fortunate than they are. So people who have diseases, people who have problems, people who don't look that good, like physically attractive or whatever. I mean, people bully others, and the reason why they do it is for such a horrible reason. I mean, they bully others because they enjoy the feeling that they are better than the person they are bullying because that person is way less fortunate than they are. You know, like you bully someone who has a disease, you bully someone who has issues, you bully someone who has a lot of problems, a lot of flaws. And it's also hypocritical because, like I said earlier, just like how there's no such thing as a completely good person, there's also no such thing as a completely flawless person. Every single one of us has flaws. All of us have problems. So the fact that people bully others just because they might have more problems than them, it really goes to show you what our society in general is like. You know, we bully others, we judge others, we make others feel bad because we want them to, because we feel that way about them. We feel bad about them. You know, we feel negative about them, and we want them to feel the same way about themselves because we feel that way about them. That's the core definition of what bullying is. You know, you want someone to feel like shit. You want someone to feel like they're a bad person. You want someone to feel like they're not as good as everyone else. You know, that's what it means to bully and judge someone. And this is often some of the reasons why people end up becoming so much worser. Society creates its own monsters. Society is the reason why some people become serial killers or drug addicts themselves. I mean, it's like a plague, it's like a disease. The hatred that spreads from person to person creates even more hateful people, and then the cycle just goes on and on and on, and it never stops. This is one of the biggest reasons why there's so much hate in our world currently, because there's just so much of it going around. Human beings have truly become one of the worst species to ever exist on this planet because of the things that we do to each other, the things that we do in general. We do so much awful shit to the world we live in and to the other people around us. And the scariest thing about all of this is the fact that, like I said earlier, good people have guilt and remorse. Most people nowadays, instead of actually having guilt and remorse, and instead of trying to change and be better people, instead they justify their awful acts towards one another. They believe that their reasons as to why they did those things make them justified. You know, people who bully others will say that the people that they bully either deserve it, or they had it coming, or, you know, they're not normal and they deserve to be treated like outsiders. I mean, it's truly awful as to why people do these things. Their reasons are almost as worse as the acts themselves because the reasons are just so ridiculous. And the fact that they are so delusional to justify their actions with their awful reasons, it really just shows you, it goes to show just how awful that we have become. I'm not sure if this is just an American thing. It very well could be, because America is a goddamn hell pit nowadays. But it seems like it's everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's always going to be just a lot of hate. And you know, I used to think that it was balanced. I used to think that it was balanced between how many good and how many bad people there are. There's good people, then you've got bad people, and it's equally balanced. But I'm starting to realize that the amount of bad people that we have in the world is frighteningly starting to outdo the number of good people we have in the world. Everyone nowadays, or almost everyone, they're just not good people anymore. People are selfish. People are cruel. People are so judgmental. People want others to behave in a way that they feel comfortable with, even though they have no right to tell another person how to live their life. And of course, like I said earlier, people also bully others. Bullying someone and trying to make someone feel bad just because you don't like the way they are, or just because you think it's funny that they're less fortunate than you are, that's a horrible way to think. Like, when you see someone who's less fortunate than you are, someone who has a lot of problems, someone who has maybe a disease or something that's just wrong with them, you're supposed to feel bad for them. You're supposed to, you know, feel for them. You're supposed to try and understand how you would feel if you was in that situation. It's called sympathy. People don't even have that anymore. The feeling of sympathy is now considered a rare feeling nowadays, because instead of feeling all those feelings towards people, they decide to bully them instead. They make fun of them. They make fun of them because they're like, oh, look at this person. Like, I'm so much better than this person because I'm not going through what they're going through. So this is going to give me a good reason to make fun of them for that. Like, I'm going to rub it in their face as if it's already being rubbed in their face, because if they're literally going through whatever they're going through. You know, it's fucking horrible how people act nowadays. And then you've got people who do beyond just bullying. I mean, we kill each other so much more often nowadays. We've got random acts of violence. We've got senseless killing that is obviously not justified. Even the cops, the people that are supposed to be protecting us from people like this, even they are starting to become homicidal serial killers. The only difference with those kinds of people versus the cops is the cops are just wearing a badge and they're not. You know, cops who kill rootlessly without good reason and kill even though they don't have to, you know, basically police brutality, those kinds of people, those kinds of cops, they're criminals themselves. They're just pretending to be cops, but they're criminals themselves. If those cops were not cops themselves, they would probably already have become criminals themselves because of the horrible things that they do to others. I mean, the amount of police brutality that I see nowadays, it honestly just, it makes me afraid of the police outside. Like, when I was a kid, I used to feel safer when there was cops around. Nowadays, I have to wonder if I'm going to get racially profiled by one, because obviously you guys probably you can already tell I'm not white. I'm not a white guy, you know? Cops are also a lot more racist nowadays, too. We all remember the George Floyd incident. And stuff like that will still go on. And people will riot again, and people will try and get the police defunded. It's not going to matter. There's always going to be racist cops who are going to kill people of color, because it's the same thing as bullying and being overly judgmental and also having a sense of being superior to others, because that's another reason why people do these heinous acts. When a person feels like they are better than someone else, they often have a sense of power over them because they feel like they are better than them. So if you are better than someone, minus, that means you have a power over them because you just think you're better than them. You think you, I don't know, you think just because you're not as unfortunate as they are, that gives you a reason to have power over them. And most of the time, people will do this very thing. People will basically thrive in this delusion that they have power over other people just because they think they're better than other people. Then you've got people who think they're better than everyone. You know, I mean, no one is better than anyone today. I mean, yeah, you can be, some people can be less fortunate than you. You can have more money than someone. You could be living a better life than someone. But deep down, we're all pretty much the same. There's not a whole lot of difference with people. You know, like I said, people could be living a different life. People could be less fortunate than others. People can have more money, a better status. But the point that I'm trying to make is we're all of the same species. So why should we act so evil to each other? You know, why do we have such stupid reasons to why we act evil towards each other? I mean, to me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, like I said before, though, there are things like mental illness that can cause this. There's drugs. There's someone's past that could cause them to be like this. But that's still not good enough, though, because people like this need to realize that they have issues and they need to get them fixed. Not just for their sake, but for the sake of others. You know, people are also so selfish nowadays. People never actually stop and think what they do and how it could affect someone else. People are always just thinking about themselves. People are constantly only thinking about themselves. They don't even have a single thought about others. It's all just me, 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 and fuck everyone. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. It's all just about me, me, me. You know, everyone is just so selfish nowadays. And that's another thing that can influence someone's bad behavior. When someone doesn't give a shit about anyone else, they're not going to have any consideration for other people as well. And, you know, we've also become a lot more violent towards each other. You know, besides just killing, like, I see people getting into fistfights more often. I see people trying to hurt others just because an argument started. I mean, arguing is fine. You know, people get into arguments all the time. I mean, it's still a bad thing, but when people allow it to escalate and get to a point where they're throwing hands and shit and trying to hurt each other, like... And then you've got people who are just genuine psychopaths who actually enjoy hurting other people. And again, I know that these are all things that used to exist beforehand. It's always going to exist, but I just have a bad feeling that it's only going to get worse. I am losing faith, so much faith in humanity nowadays because of all this awful shit that goes on. My personal favorite example is the people who lie, use, and manipulate others for their own gain. I've talked about this before on my original Mr. Rage channel, but basically, People will pretend to be someone they're not around you, so that way they can get something that they want from you. Because the truth is, people can gain a lot from others. And people will often put on this mask of fakeness to basically try and gain something from you. They'll pretend to be your friend. They'll pretend that they care about you. They'll pretend that you actually mean something to them. But then as soon as they get what they wanted from you, they will quickly show you in the most cruel way possible that they really didn't give two shits about you. They only gave a shit about what they wanted to gain from you. You know, people will lie and manipulate you just because you have something valuable and they want it. You know, they want what you have and they'll stop at nothing to get it. And they will do the most cruel acts necessary to try and get what you have so that way they can have it from you. And people don't care about doing these kinds of horrible things to each other. People don't care about lying and manipulating others for their own selfish desires. Sometimes the thing they want from you, or the thing that they want to gain from you, is just you yourself. You know, people also like being in control of others. I mean, you know, relationships, for example. I mean, there's plenty of examples where someone's partner was just using them. You know, they just wanted to use them themselves. They didn't want to gain anything from them. They wanted just them themselves. They wanted to be in control of someone. They wanted to have someone that they can use like all the time, you know? People enjoy using others like they're not even really other human beings, like they're fucking robots or servants or some shit. So, yeah, man, like, I'm just losing so much faith in humanity. I mean, we lie to each other, we hurt and kill each other, we start wars, we pollute the earth. I mean, we do so much awful shit. And we don't even have good reasons as to why we do these awful things. The reasons that people have are completely ridiculous, and they are not relatable reasons at all. You know, because sometimes people have reasons that are relatable as to why they do what they do, but most bad people in the world, their reasons are just completely 100% ridiculous. Because bad people are also often delusional. Because bad people believe, if they can believe in the first place that the things they do are justified and okay, then to me that makes them pretty fucking delusional. You know, because usually we're supposed to have something hardwired into our brains that tells us when something is wrong. You know, like most people have that sense of doing something wrong versus doing something right. And I guess not everyone really has that hardwired into their brain, or else they wouldn't do what they do, or they would feel it more strongly. Because if they did feel those feelings more strongly, like guilt and remorse and things of those natures, then they would not even have those pathetic reasons as to why they do what they do in the first place. And most importantly, they wouldn't use those pathetic reasons to justify their horrible acts towards one another. I don't know, man. Maybe it's a mental problem. I mean, I don't know, but it really makes me sick. It makes me very sad for our future as people. It makes me sad for our future as a normal society. You know, the horrible things that we do to one another, like I said, it really just goes to show you how awful our species has become. How awful everyone in general has become. I'm not saying that everyone has to be perfect, but if they can be better than what they are now, then they should be. Because as of right now, people are just so incredibly shitty towards one another. I mean, and there's nothing that I can do about it. This video will mean absolutely nothing. I can upload this video, and tomorrow a man will go out and kill like 10 innocent people for absolutely no reason. You know, you've got, bro, even shooters, even like mass shootings, like you can't even go outside anymore in public without worrying about getting fucking shot by some random guy who just wanted to kill people for no reason. And even when they do have a reason, like I said, are you really going to give me a justifiable reason as to why someone should go and shoot down a crowd of people? And I know the catch, they were mentally ill, they were depressed, they had problems, they wanted to kill everyone, then kill themselves, I get it, but our healthcare system is also so, maybe this really is just an American thing, because our mental health care system is so incredibly bad. Our healthcare system in general is bad. The people who run this country are just more bad people themselves. Maybe that's the reason why there's other bad people around. Like all these big fucking companies that control everything, the ones that only care about making more and more money from us, are awful government that doesn't do shit for us. I mean, maybe this really is just an American thing. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say, man. Like Like, this just, honestly, this stuff like this just really gets me down. I know some will say, well, just spend time around better people and shit, but it's hard to. Like, it's so easy to feel lonely nowadays when you know that so many other people are fake. Because there's also a lot of fake people out there. People will pretend that they care about you. People will pretend that you are something as simple as a friend. Because a friend is not a whole lot. It's just like, to me, a friend is someone that you can trust, someone that cares about you, someone who would, you know, spend time with you if you needed someone to spend time with, someone who would drive you to the store if you needed a favor, something like that. Like, to me, that's what makes a friend. People will lie, even about the most simplest of things, for some of the worst reasons. So, you know, there's just a lot of fake people out there nowadays as well. Like, I don't trust anyone personally. Like, I cannot physically or mentally trust anyone. I don't even trust my own family sometimes. Like, there's just so many fake people. I mean, it's scary how easy it is to act fake for anything. We can act fake around people. We can act fake on camera. We can act fake anywhere. Like, it's so easy to lie. Anyone can be an actor. It's just that there's no movie playing. But anyone can still be an actor. It's just that, you know, you're not playing in a movie. You know, it's like people can become an actor at any point, and they can act like a character or a person that they are just not really. You know? It's so much easier to be fake than it is to be real. You know, a lot of people don't even like being real, either out of fear of being judged themselves, or because if they was to actually show what they were truly like, and if they're bad people, then other people will see that. And, you know, thankfully, bad people are looked down upon still by society, although sometimes they're not. We all know that apparently people like to defend pedophiles nowadays, so that's nice. Just more reasons as to why humanity is literally going downhill, but, and how can I forget the fact that Jeffrey Dahmer has like over 1,000 fangirls on fucking TikTok? This generation, to me, like Gen Z, this generation is fucking trash. Just, this generation is completely fucking trash. People are unkind to each other. People are hateful to each other. They kill each other. They lie to each other. They manipulate each other. I mean, what don't people do to each other nowadays? I only gave a couple reasons in this video. What don't people do to each other these days that's evil? There is just so much evil in the world. There is too much evil in the world. And I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't think there's anything else I could say. I mean, the reasons that people have are ridiculous. Their acts are evil and selfish, cruel and wicked. And people don't even care to change. I mean, some people do change. Some people actually do have redemption, but most people keep their low honor, and they never actually find their redemption. So, and that's just even more tragic. You know, for other Christians out there like myself, just remember one thing. God was going to destroy the whole world because of us. Because God regretted creating us at one point because of how evil humanity became. Even God regretted our creation at one point. Let that sink in. And it's still the same. As a matter of fact, if God can probably sink the world again if he wanted to, if he could, I bet he would. Because humanity has become even more evil and twisted than it was back then. I mean, the way humanity was when God flooded the world, I mean, it's probably gotten a million times worse. Especially all the shit that we have now, all the things we have in our lives now, the technology and shit. I mean, cyberbullying, all that crap. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that I definitely didn't. These videos are just kind of depressing for me to make, but it's important for me to express myself, and that's why I'm using this channel. So I'm just kind of expressing myself here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know down in the comments, what do you believe about this? What are your thoughts about this? Do you think humanity is as bad as I think it is? Or do you have hope? Anyways, guys, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe if this video earned those things from you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, y'all, and peace out.